Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome back to Basic Japanese for people as lazy as me. Today I am super lazy because it is hot outside and I don't really want to be at school. But anyway, so let's get this done. Today we're doing the rest of the katakana. Since you guys have already done this bit in hiragana, it will be significantly easier for me to just sort of drop this down and let you guys figure out the rest of it. Let's begin. In the interest of saving time, I'm just going to sort of do them because you've already seen the thing that does this before. So here's how this goes, right? You remember how if you take a thing, ha for instance, in hiragana, and if you put the two little dots on it, ten, that makes the sound into daku on, which is like the sound that you do when you've got the ten on it. And it goes from ha into ba, just making the first consonant sort of like a stressed vocalized consonant. You do that with katakana as well, and you do that with all of them, just the same way that you do with hiragana. So every hiragana that you've got that you can put ten or the little handaku and maru thing, the circle on, you can do that the same in hiragana. So let's get to work. G and A makes ga. Its base form is ka. So you've got ka, and you put the ten on it. Let's use white. White's better for this. So you've got ka, you put ten on it. That's ga. The next one is gi. The base form is ki, which is here, and you just put the ten on it. Next is gu. Base form is ku with ten. Next one is ge. Base form is ke with ten. And the last one, this one is go. Base form is ko with ten. Ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Easy stuff, we've done this all before. Next up we'll work on the Z's. This is the S sound. So remember that with shi, it will be a J sound instead of a Z sound, because that's how Japanese works. So, working first, Z and A. The base form is sa with ten, za. Next one is Z, she, which will make G. She is two dots and then one going upwards. Remember this one, don't screw it up. And then put ten on it. So there's a whole lot of little dots on this one. Anyway, G. Next one is su with ten. Su, ten makes zu. So ze makes ze, which is base form se. Se with ten makes ze. And finally, so, base form one mark downwards, with ten makes zo. So there's your zo, or there's your za, ji, zu, ze, zo. Some people will say well, this is an SH sound, and to make that into a voiced consonant, you'd make it ZH, wouldn't you? Yeah, I guess you can. That's not technically incorrect, but it's just easier to make it a J. Anyway, yeah, so let's move on. Next you've got D's, which base form is T, so let's get this on. TA makes ta, well let's get this line here. Ta, base form here, with ten is da. Next one is DI. Remember this is chi from before, this thing. And then when you made this into ten, then it became the same sound as this one, G, and is not used very often. It's the same thing, very often not used. But, just so that you know it. Base form chi with ten. You can really put the ten anywhere on it, as long as it's not down here or some junk. As long as you can recognize the ten belong to that item, then you can put them basically anywhere. So there's da, there's G. Remember, this one is base T, so this would be tsu, which remember does not turn into dzu. Or like do, it does not go do, it goes zu. It's the same as this sound, really. Just maybe a little bit more stressed on the first part. Tsu is the two things with one going down, and then the ten makes zu. Next one is T and E, base form te, with a ten on it makes de. And then the last one is base form to, to, with ten makes do. Da, G, zu, de, do. That one's annoying, I know. And last one, we've got the B's. B is base form H, remember. So we've got H-A, ha, with 10-10 is ba. B-I, which is H-I, base form he, 10-10 is B. H-U is really like F sound, remember that one. So that's who, with 10-10 becomes boo. B with an E on it, that's base form he, which is the same as in hiragana. With 10-10 becomes be, and then B-O base form ho, with 10-10 becomes bo. Ba, bi, bu, be, bo. So really quick. Ga, za, da, ba, gi, ji, ji, bi. Gu, zu, zu, bu. Ge, ze, de, be. Go, zo, do, bo. That's really hard to say. Like, that should be like a tongue twister or something. Ga, za, da, ba, gi, ji, zi. Yeah, crap. Anyway, you guys should give it a shot. In fact, if you want to, make a video response to this one, trying to say these in this order, and see if you can do it better than I can, because I suck at those. Alright, anyway, so those are your dakuon, your 10-10 syllables. Let's move on now. Next up is handakuon, which I never actually explained that word before, which is the little circle on it, the maru that you can put onto stuff to make it a P sound. Remember, the only ones that you put the P sound on are the H's. So P is also base H, just like B. P-A, of course, we've got ha, becomes pa, just like before. H-I becomes P. F-U becomes, crap, poo. I guess this kind of really belongs over there. Shut up, Belle! We don't care. Bell is ringing, whatever. Only one of those was necessary. The next one, he, of course, becomes pe, and then ho becomes po. Easy stuff. Okay, so now you've got the dakuon, the 10-10, and the handakuon, the little circle. Let's move on. Combinations time. You remember back in hiragana when we had things like shi with the little ya next to it, sha. These actually are used more often in katakana than they are in hiragana because there are a lot of sounds that they can't really approximate properly just using the normal ones, so they've got to use combinations in katakana in order to make the foreign words sound legit. So let's go through these. Since we've already done this once before, it should be a review to you, but it's just going to be with the different symbols instead, so I don't have to explain to you the inner workings of the things. Remember that you only put the little like ya-yu and yo on the things that are he, like the I sound. So ki, shi, chi, ni, he, ni, and ni. You can't put it on things like la or, mo, because those don't work. So let's get on this, right? Ki and ya, of course, makes kya. You use this for a lot of stuff where in English we would have the cat sound like cat or candy or captor, as in card captor Sakura. They would use this instead. So it sounds a little bit like kyat and candy and kyapter. But that's how they do it. So kya. Kya, really. Next would be Q. Ki with a little U next to it. Q, which you're going to use for words like cute, cucumber, and, all other such words that have that kind of sound in it. Next up, we've got ki and yo. Kyo. I can't think of a good foreign word that has that sound in it right now, but rest assured that you will think of one later. Next up, we've got she. Remember, she, of course, is written 10-10 upwards. Part of the nightmare set, haha. So let's move on. She and ya together. This ya is kind of jank, isn't it? There. It's a little better, yeah. She and ya make sha, which you use for things like sharp or Charmin, the brand of paper towels or something. You also use this to write Char Aznabel's name from Gundam. His name is written sha and then the elongated vowel thing, which I'll talk about in a minute. Moving on. Shu becomes she, you. Things like shoes, shoot, that kind of junk. And show, which I'm certain that you can already think of something right there. Show, as in Big O, Showtime. No one knows that series. Moving on. Chi. Chi and ya makes cha. Cha, which they use for things like charge. Cha-ji is how they end up saying that sort of thing. Or like champion, champion, kind of stuff. Next is chu, which they use in YouTube. They say YouTube, since they don't have the tu sound. And it sounds kind of like we're saying tiu in English, because they say YouTube, or YouTube. It's chu for them, YouTube. YouTube. Next up is cho, which is most prominently used in the word chocolate, chocoreto. Next up is ni. I don't know very many words that use like nya and nyo, but at least nyu's got something. So anyway, nya is like that. I mean, that ni is kind of jank. Let's try that again. Ni, yeah. Nya, of course, is the sound that a cat makes. A lot of times it will be written in katakana, and I don't know why. I think it might just be because it's not Japanese, and therefore it's cat-go, or cat language, and therefore it's got to be written in katakana. Moving on. Ni and you makes new. When you say words like new, as in not old in English, you use this sound in Japanese, where you say new. Anyone who's watched Elfenlied will also realize that this is one of the things that Lucy says quite a whole lot. They don't really use the nu, like this thing. They don't use... What the crap? How can I not write nu anymore? Anyway, they don't use nu very much for stuff. Like, if they're trying to say something like New York, they will say New York. So, yeah, watch that. Next is nyo. I don't really know very many words that use nyo in it, but know it because it will show up probably. Next would be he and ya makes hya. Hya. Make it up yourself, I don't know. Next up is hue, which is used in words like human or humid. Relatively easy that way. And then hyo. Can't think of any foreign words that use that right now. But again, that's just because I'm not really prepared for these episodes, because I'm lazy, just like you guys are. So let's get on with this then. Me with all of these. We get nya, which is kind of like the English sound for cats. We've got mu, which is prominently used in words like musical, or just straight up music, and myo. Myo, I don't know. Anyway, now onto the D's. The D with ya next to it becomes ya, ya, which is another one of those, like, it's hard to say because it's the, like, R-D mixed sound thing that they've got in Japanese, and then you have to add an extra syllabary thing to it, so it becomes more difficult. I would just say, listen to something that has that syllable in it like 150 times, and say it every time it happens. So you have a thing that's just on repeat that goes, ya, you, yo, and then you go, ya, you, yo, and then it would be easier for you to pronounce. Moving on, you. You is in words like volume. Anything that's got like an L-U in it in English. What the crap is this thing? Anyway, it's got like an L-U in it in English, like luminescent or volume or any of those, is probably going to use you. Because it's pretty close to what we say in English, because we go volume, and they would say bodium, bodium, right? Next up is yo. Ni and yo make yo. Yo. Easy stuff. All of these are stuff that you already technically know. So I shouldn't have to go over them because you guys already know them. Because you're both lazy. You're lazy just like me. And so you don't really have to go through all the extra lecture and stuff. So we have kya, kyu, kyo, sha, shu, sho, cha, chu, cho, nya, nyu, nyo, hya, hyu, hyo, mya, mu, nyo, and ya, yu, yo. Easy stuff. Okay, so the next important thing that you need to know about putting ten dakun or anything onto a katakana is, this one only happens in katakana, it doesn't happen in hiragana because it never had to. But you remember u, right? If you take u and put ten on it, this is a special case, it normally doesn't happen this way, but if you take u and you put ten on it, it becomes vu, vu, with a V sound. The Japanese people have a lot of hard time talking, or rather saying this sound because it doesn't exist in their syllabary. But recently, in the past some odd years or so, they've started trying to use vu. So you can use this for like foreign words that have V sounds in them. Normally, most Japanese people will just use the hot line with ten on it for V sounds. So if you're saying something like, for instance, my name, Vincent, many people will write it B, se, to, Vincento. But you can very well, and I do, write it V. Now you see what I did there? Normally this only happens, when you put a small thing next to it, it only happens with ya, you, and yo. But it's, again, this is a special case. You can use this with u only. U can be made into W sounds and V sounds. So for instance, what is it? That game Vanguard that people play, that's the card game and I guess is an anime now? Vanguard in Japanese is written like this. Vangado. I'll talk about this thing in a second, but this is the part we're talking about right now. Take u, put ten on it to make vu, and then put a small vowel, one of the vowels, a, I, u, a, or o, next to it, to replace its normal vowel. So this becomes va. Va. Vangado. Piece of the board here is really crap. Anyway, Vanguard. So you take that one. And the same thing with like, it's like a DS game or something, Pocket Wars or something like that. When they write it here, they go, ooh, with an O next to it, wars. This is a W sound now, because that's sort of what our W is, isn't it? Like when we say water, we go water. So it's kind of like ooh-ah, put together, wa. This is the same thing, wa, wars, woes. So you can use the katakana u with ten or not, and a vowel, a small vowel next to it to approximate other sort sounds. So you get like wa, even though you don't really need that very much, unless you're speaking German in Japanese, at which point the W, or the like V sound or whatever, you're gonna get this. So this is used in things like Valkyrie Chronicles, Walkyrie, so in this case, Walkyrie Chronicles, wa, and then, of course, there's Wii, which you use for the Wii console, Wii, like that. And then this one doesn't get used at all. I don't think I've ever actually seen this, but it's technically viable. Woo. For like, you know, I don't know. We. You'll see once in a while for like saying waistband or something like that, like the size of your waist. We. And whoa, they technically have this one, remember. But like you still use this thing for it. Wo. It's the same thing with 10-10. So you've got va, vi, and then I guess vu, ve, which doesn't really get used much, and vo. Sort of jank that up, but whatever. So those are all viable things. Just don't use them too often because there's... Generally, if you think you should use this, you're probably wrong. Wait until someone else uses it or you see it in print somewhere before you make the decision to use it in your writing and stuff. Because some people know it, some people don't. Some people use it, some people don't. Alright, moving on. I almost forgot to talk about these. These are the same as they are in hiragana. But the dakuon, the 10-10s, or the little maru thing with the small, like, consonant or vowel changers next to them are literally the same as they are in hiragana. You've done this all before, so we'll just go them really quick. Gi and ya. Remember, you use ki, so base form is ki. With the 10-10 to make it gi, and then put the little ya next to it is gya. You use it in the word gyarados, gyarados. And then, of course, there's gyu and gyo. Next up is the J's from the shi syllabary line. So you've got shi, 10-10, ji, ja, which you use in things like Japan, Japan. Shi, 10-10, yu, ju for things like juice, and jo, shi, jo for things like George or joke. This one is with chi. So, you know, base form chi, 10-10 for ji, yeah. Base form chi, you know, again, like, this is relatively unused, but just so that you know them because you ought to. Ja, ju, jo. Next is the B's. We're going to move that down a little bit. And then the P's down here. I'll go with that. That's fine. The B's are, remember, base form ha. No, sorry. What am I talking about? Base form H. H-I. He. B. Ya. Bya. Bu. Byo. And then the P's are also base form he, but with the, like, round thing instead. So you've got he, p, ya, pya, pew, pyo. They're all super easy since you already know this sort of convention thing. So you have gya, ja, cha, ja, I guess, bya, pya, gyu, ju, ju, bu, pew, gyo, jo, jo, byo, pyo. God, that's really hard to say that way. Nah. Anyway, alright, so now you know all of those. You know literally every, like, syllabary thing that can possibly get done in the hiragana and the katakana. So now, let's move on to, like, the vowel elongators and all that sort of junk. Elongated vowel sounds. Remember how we did them in hiragana? When you have something like, ka, and you want to make it ka, like in okasan, you put an a next to it. Or if you wanted to make e longer, you put, so like, se would put se, i, but it's just se. We dispose of that in katakana, and we do something that's way easier. Way easier. If you have anything that's got a vowel in it, so literally any syllable that's not and you want to extend the vowel, you just put a line next to it. So ka becomes ka. You know, su becomes su. If you're writing it the other way, then you've got like, he becomes he. That kind of thing. It's just a straight line with no like extra ticks on the end or no little squiggly bits or anything. Just a straight line. And that's how you elongate vowels. Literally, you just put a line next to it. So like if you're here from Mary's channel, you know Mary's name is Mary Effler. Mary Effler. So she'd write her name, Mary, and then Effula. My name, of course, is Vincent Pritchard, and since I've only got one like long vowel in mine uses that thing we talked about a second ago, V, Se, To, and then Pu, Li, Cha, Do. Vincento Puriciado. See how this is just the like elongation of a vowel? Easy stuff. The other thing that you're going to see for in katakana is the little dot that looks like this. It's just literally like a dot. You use this to separate words that are in katakana if they are not obvious where the words separate. For instance, in the middle of someone's name. Because they're not normal words that Japanese people will have known, so they won't know if my first name is, you know, Vincento Pu, and then my last name is Dichado, or whatever. So in order to alleviate that, you give them a little bit of, like, an indicator. Vincento Puriciado. Whatever, right? This little dot there is saying, this is the break between words. So you use it for, in the middle of like, two or more words that don't obviously show themselves to be different words. Alright, so now you know the dot and the vowel elongator. Here we go. Alright, so just like every time, get your paper, draw this thing on it, I'm going to say the sound, then you write it down, then I'll write it down, and then everyone has a cup of tea. Here we go. Starting here. Ga. Gi. Gu. Ge. Go. Good job, 5 out of 5 so far, right? Za. G with the she instead, not the chi yet. She. Zoo. Zay, as in Zay Frank, whose channel you should also check out since he's a genius. Zo. We're kind of getting a little jank on those lines, aren't we? It's my new word of the week, I guess, jank. Next up, da. G. Remember, because they don't do the D thing. G. Zoo, because they don't do. De. And do. Now let's work ba, as in ba sing se, to which it is a long, long way. Anyone who gets that comment, ba, b, boo, be, better. Next up, pa. Not going to be very different from this row. P. We're going to avoid this area here because it's crap. Poo. Pe. So I guess I must have run out of memory or something, so I had to clean that up. Anyway, we were on pe. Next up is po. Yeah. Po. Done. Alright. Next up we're going to do the combinations quiz, so let's get that. Combinations quiz, here we go. First up, we'll go from over here. Well, this is dumb because you guys can already see them. So, like, I guess we don't even really need to do this quiz. So, I mean, you know, just pretend like you did. I'll write them all really quick. No, because that's even dumb, because I just did that already. So never mind that. I guess you guys passed this part because it's dumb to try to... Because you already know all of these things. You even know to put the 10-10 on them, and I'm impressed with you guys, so good job. So we're going to skip this bit of the quiz, and we'll say that we give you 100%, because I'm awesome, and so are you. Alright, so that, I guess, concludes the whole lesson, doesn't it? Next lesson will probably be some sort of reading and listening test thing like it was last time. Then I guess maybe I'll talk about... Actually, get starting into, like, talking about how the language itself works. From now on, I will not ever be using anything written in English. Unless it is an English word that I am then writing the translation for. I will never write a Japanese word in English. So if you want to keep studying with me, make sure that you know the hiragana and the katakana, like down pat. Practice them a lot. There are plenty of sheets online. I actually had this one right here. You just like search hiragana or katakana on the internet. And this one's going to come up. I don't even remember where I got it, but credit to them. So, you know, easy stuff. Just make sure that you know them, because I'm not going to be using them to write Japanese words. You will never hear me say something like, alright everyone, let's learn the word eat. It's written like this. No, none of that. That's not going to happen. So if you want to learn Japanese, but you don't want to learn the writing style, get out. Because this is the easiest way to do it, and you're going to have a whole lot of trouble otherwise if you don't learn how to write and read. Because it's dumb. Alright, yes, so I guess good job, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.